The void of space stretched endlessly, dark and silent, broken only by the faint hum of a single military shuttle. Its hull bore scars from past battles, paint chipped and engines running on low power. Inside the cramped cockpit sat Captain Jace Varren, a retired soldier with a face hardened by war. Beside him sat his teenage daughter Lyra, staring curiously at the flickering hologram hovering between them. The hologram was the final will of Jace's estranged father, Commander Aldrich Varren, a man Jace had not spoken to in years. Eldrich's voice, calm but heavy, filled the cabin. "To my son and my granddaughter, I leave you Station Epsilon-13, my greatest failure, or perhaps my greatest triumph." The message ended with a burst of static. Then silence. Lyra frowned, her bright green eyes full of questions. "That's it? That's all he left us? A broken-down space station no one even remembers?" Jace grunted, his hands tightening on the controls. "That's all. And trust me, it's worthless. My father wasted his life out here in the middle of nowhere. Everyone back home laughed when they heard about this. Even my own sister said it was just a pile of floating junk." Lyra glanced out the viewport. Stars glittered like cold diamonds, and far ahead, a faint metallic silhouette slowly came into view. The space station. From this distance it looked dead, like a drifting relic from a forgotten era. "Why are we even going, then?" she asked. "Because it's ours now," Jace said bitterly. "The lawyers said I had to take possession of it before we can sell it for scrap. Then we can go home and forget this whole thing ever happened." Lyra hugged her knees, staring at the growing shape ahead. Despite her father's harsh tone, something inside her stirred. A sense of adventure, mystery. What if it's not junk, Dad? What if it's important? Jace gave a humorless laugh. "The only thing important out here is how fast we can strip it down and get paid." As they drew closer, Station Epsilon-13 revealed itself. It was massive, far larger than Lyra expected, shaped like a sprawling web of interconnected modules and rings. Its outer hull was cracked and pitted with meteoroid scars. Entire sections looked dark and lifeless, drifting in zero gravity. It should have been completely dead, yet as they approached the main docking bay, lights flickered across the outer hull. A low hum vibrated through the shuttle. Lyra gasped. "Did you see that?" "The lights came on!" Jace frowned. "That's not possible. There's no active power source out here." The docking clamps engaged automatically, locking their shuttle into place. A cold, metallic voice suddenly filled the cockpit speakers. "Welcome back." "Commander!" Lyra's heart raced. Did it just call you Commander?" Jace froze, his hand hovering over the weapon at his belt. "Stay behind me," he ordered, his voice low. "This isn't right." The docking bay doors slid open with a hiss, releasing a stale, metallic smell. Jace stepped out first, blaster rifle at the ready. Lyra followed close behind, her boots echoing in the vast, empty space. The bay was strangely intact. No signs of decay, no rust, no drifting debris. The floor gleamed faintly, as if it had been recently cleaned. Strange alien symbols ran along the walls, pulsing softly with pale blue light. "This place should be falling apart," Jace muttered. "Instead it looks maintained." Lyra touched one of the glowing symbols. It was warm, almost alive. "Dad, this tech isn't human, is it?" Jace didn't answer. He didn't need to. Human stations were built from crude alloys and bulky machinery. This was sleek, smooth, and alien. As they moved deeper into the station, lights flickered on ahead of them, illuminating their path. It was as if the station itself knew they were there, guiding them forward. Lyra whispered, "It's like it's welcoming us." Jace didn't like that thought. Not one bit. They entered a central control room. Holographic panels blinked to life the moment Jace stepped inside. The same cold, mechanical voice spoke again, this time directly from the walls. "Biometric signature confirmed. Jace Varren, son of Aldrich Varren. Lineage verified. Authorization partial." Jace's grip on his rifle tightened. "Who are you? Identify yourself." "I am Overseer Unit Omega, the intelligence core of Station Epsilon-13, awaiting further instructions." Lyra's eyes widened. "It's an AI, Dad. This whole place is controlled by an AI." Jace growled. "My father built this place with alien tech, didn't he? No wonder the government disowned him," the AI continued, ignoring Jace's anger. "Primary systems offline. Power reserves at 23%. Critical vault sealed until full authorization is granted." Lyra tilted her head. "Vault? What vault?" The floor beneath them trembled slightly, and a glowing pathway appeared on the far side of the room, leading to a corridor shrouded in darkness. "Would you like to open the vault?" the AI asked. Jace stepped forward, his instincts screaming at him to say no. "What's inside this vault?" For the first time, the AI's voice shifted, becoming almost reverent. "Knowledge, power, salvation, or extinction." Lyra shivered. "Dad, that doesn't sound safe." Jace scowled. "We're not touching anything until I know what's going on here." But Lyra's curiosity burned like fire. She couldn't help herself. As they followed the glowing path deeper into the station, she asked, what if Grandpa wasn't crazy? What if this place was meant for us, to protect humanity? Jace shook his head. "Your grandfather abandoned his family for this place. He left me to fight a war while he hid out here tinkering with alien junk. There's nothing noble about that." The corridor stretched for hundreds of meters, the walls lined with strange, glowing conduits. The deeper they went, the stronger the hum became, like the heartbeat of some colossal creature. Finally, they reached a vast chamber. At its center stood a massive circular door, at least 30 feet tall, covered in intricate alien patterns. The air around it crackled with static energy. Lyra stared in awe. "It's beautiful." Jace's gut twisted. "It's a weapon." "Has to be." The AI's voice filled the chamber. "Vault integrity at 100%. Awaiting command authorization." Jace approached the door cautiously. "You said my father had full authorization. Why can't you open it now?" "Aldrich Varren is deceased. His command privileges transferred to his direct bloodline. You and your offspring, Lyra Varren." Lyra stepped back, startled. "Me? Why me?" The AI's lights pulsed brighter. "Your presence completes the sequence. 2 generations, 2 keys. Together you may open the vault." Jace turned to Lyra, his face pale. "No, absolutely not. We're not opening this thing." Lyra bit her lip. "But Dad, what if it's something good? What if it's what Grandpa wanted us to find?" Jace's voice rose. "Or what if it's a plague or a bomb or some alien weapon that wipes out entire worlds? We don't know what we're dealing with." The AI interrupted, its tone suddenly sharper. "Time is running out. External signal detected." "Others are coming." Jace froze. "Others? What others?" "Foreign vessel inbound. Hostile intent probable." Lyra's heart pounded. "Dad, we need to see what's inside before they get here." Jace hesitated, torn between fear and duty. His soldier instincts told him to secure the unknown threat before outsiders could take it. But as a father, every part of him wanted to shield Lyra from danger. Finally he growled, "Fine, but stay behind me." They stood before the massive door. A glowing pedestal rose from the floor, splitting into 2 panels, one for Jace, one for Lyra. "Place your hands on the panels," the AI instructed. "Authorization will be confirmed." Jace reluctantly placed his palm on the surface. It was warm, almost alive, and a sharp tingling shot up his arm. Lyra hesitated, trembling, then slowly pressed her hand to her panel. The entire chamber shook violently. The intricate patterns on the door lit up, swirling like a galaxy of stars. Energy surged through the walls, humming so loudly it rattled their bones. "Biometric verification complete," the AI announced. "Vault access sequence initiated." Jace shouted over the noise. "What happens if we open it?" The AI's final words sent chills down their spines. "Once opened, it cannot be closed." Lyra screamed as the glowing lines spiraled faster and faster. The door began to shift, massive gears grinding as if awakening from centuries of slumber. The entire station shook, lights flickering wildly. Somewhere in the distance, a siren blared, and a deep rumbling noise filled the corridors. Jace grabbed Lyra and pulled her back. "Get behind me, now!" The AI's voice boomed louder than ever. "Vault breach imminent. Stand by." The giant door began to glow white-hot, cracks of energy running across its surface. The hum reached a deafening pitch. Outside, in the cold void of space, the distant silhouette of an unknown ship appeared on long-range scanners, moving toward the station at incredible speed. Lyra's voice trembled. "Dad, something's coming." Jace stared at the glowing door, his heart pounding. "We never should have come here." The AI's final whisper echoed through the chamber, chilling them both to the core. "The awakening has begun." With a thunderous roar, the vault shook violently, threatening to burst open as the entire station trembled around them. The vault door glowed brighter and brighter, humming with a strange, almost living energy. Lyra clutched her father's arm, her eyes wide with fear and awe. Jace's instincts screamed at him to run, to get her out of there before whatever was inside broke free. But something deeper kept him frozen in place. He had seen many strange things in his years as a soldier, but nothing like this. This was ancient, alien, and powerful. It was far beyond human understanding. The AI's cold, emotionless voice echoed through the chamber. "Vault access confirmed. Opening sequence underway. Warning, unstable power fluctuations detected." The massive gears of the door shifted slowly, grinding like stone against stone. The sound was deafening, echoing through the vast space. Sparks of blue light arced across the floor as energy surged into systems that had been dormant for decades. The air grew hot, thick with static electricity. Lyra gasped as her hair lifted, standing on end. "Dad," she whispered, her voice trembling, "maybe we shouldn't do this." Jace held her close, his jaw set. "It's too late to turn back now. Stay behind me!" With a final groan, the vault door slid open just enough to reveal a dark chamber beyond. At its center hovered a massive glowing core. It was unlike anything Lyra had ever seen, shaped like a crystalline sphere suspended in mid-air, with intricate veins of light pulsing within it. The sphere seemed to breathe, expanding and contracting like a living heart. As the door opened wider, the AI's voice grew louder. "Primary intelligence core active. Command interface online." The sphere shifted, its light focusing into a single beam that scanned Jace and Lyra from head to toe. Then a voice emerged, deeper and older than the AI's neutral tone. "At last, my successors arrive." Jace's grip tightened on his blaster. "What are you?" "Identify yourself." The sphere's light swirled and formed a ghostly image of a figure, tall, alien, with elongated limbs and glowing eyes. "I am the true overseer of this station. My creators built this place as a fortress, a last stand against the ones who destroyed our worlds. Your father, Jace Varren, was chosen to guard it after we fell." Lyra's breath caught. "Grandpa, he wasn't crazy, was he?" The alien projection tilted its head. "Your grandfather was a guardian, but he failed to complete his mission. The enemy will return. And when they do, only this station has the power to stand against them." Jace's heart pounded. This was worse than he feared. If what this thing said was true, then humanity wasn't alone in the galaxy, and there were hostile forces out there powerful enough to destroy entire civilizations. "Why us?" he demanded. "Why did my father pass this to me and my daughter?" The overseer's form flickered. "Because this station's systems require two living heirs of the commander's bloodline. Together, you are the keys to unlocking its full potential. Without you, it will remain dormant. Humanity will remain blind and defenseless." Before Jace could respond, a sharp, repeating alarm rang through the chamber. Red lights flashed along the walls. The AI's cold voice cut through the chaos. "External signal detected. Incoming vessel. Hostile intent probable." Lyra spun toward the nearest console. "Something's coming here." The holographic display lit up, showing a strange ship approaching at incredible speed. It wasn't like any human craft. Its shape was organic, almost like a living creature. Jagged, pulsating veins of light ran along its hull, and its movements were too fluid, too unnatural. "That's not one of ours," Jace said, his voice grim. He grabbed Lyra's hand. "We're leaving now." The overseer's voice boomed urgently. "No, you must stay and activate the defense systems. If that vessel reaches you before the station is ready, they will take the core and annihilate you both." Lyra shook her head. "We don't even know how to use any of this." The alien projection's glowing eyes focused on her. Child, you can. The systems will respond to you instinctively. Trust yourself. Jace pulled Lyra toward the corridor. We're not trusting anything. We don't even know if this thing is lying. The floor beneath them suddenly shifted. Panels slid open, revealing dormant weapons and turrets hidden within the walls. The Overseer's voice grew more urgent. Listen to me. That ship belongs to the enemy. They have been searching for this place for centuries. If they seize the core, they will use it to conquer your species. The image of the alien ship on the display grew larger. It was almost at the station now. Jace's soldier instincts took over. He knew he couldn't fight what was coming with only his sidearm. His only chance was to get the station's defenses online. Lyra, he said, his voice steady but firm, go to the console. Do what it says. I'll cover you. Lyra hesitated. But Dad, do it! That's an order. With shaking hands, Lyra ran to the glowing pedestal. The moment her fingers touched the surface, streams of alien symbols appeared, shifting and reshaping into patterns she somehow understood. It was like the system was speaking directly to her mind. Initializing defense grid, the AI announced. Warning, power reserves critically low. The chamber trembled as ancient machinery powered up. Turrets extended from hidden compartments, their barrels glowing faintly. For a moment, hope flickered in Jace's chest. Then the Overseer spoke again, its voice grave. The defenses will not be enough. You must activate the secondary systems. For that, you must enter the command nexus. The holographic display shifted to reveal a map of the station. At its very center was a towering spire labeled Command Nexus. Where is it? Jace demanded. The Overseer pointed toward a dark corridor leading deeper into the station. There, but you must hurry. The enemy is boarding. As if on cue, a loud metallic screech echoed through the halls. The alien ship had docked, and boarding clamps were tearing through the outer hull. Lyra's voice rose in panic. Dad, they're here! Jace turned to the Overseer. Lock down the station. Negative, the AI replied. Without full activation, I cannot seal all sectors. Jace cursed under his breath. Then we fight. He rushed to the doorway, rifle ready, as Lyra followed close behind. She tried to stay brave, but her whole body trembled. She had never seen combat before. The corridor lights flickered as they ran. Behind them, a horrific sound filled the air, wet guttural screeches mixed with the hiss of airlocks opening. Shadows moved at the far end of the hall, too fast to see clearly. Jace spun, firing a burst of energy rounds. A monstrous shape lunged from the darkness. Its body was covered in black, chitinous armor, its limbs twisted and sharp like blades. Glowing yellow eyes locked on him as it let out a chilling scream. Lyra froze, screaming. Run! Jace shouted, blasting the creature until it collapsed in a heap of smoking flesh. They sprinted through the winding corridors, deeper and deeper into the station. Every turn revealed more horrors. Alien warriors cutting through bulkheads, their strange weapons spitting arcs of green energy. The station's dormant defenses fired sporadically, but it wasn't enough to stop the relentless assault. As they reached a heavy blast door, the Overseer's voice guided them. Beyond this door lies the command nexus. Once inside, the child must merge with the station's core to unlock full control. Lyra stumbled back, terrified. Merge? What does that even mean? It means, the Overseer said solemnly, that part of her mind will become one with the station. She will see through its sensors, command its systems, and wield its power. Only then can you repel the invaders. Jace turned to Lyra, his heart breaking. I won't let you do that. There has to be another way. There is no other way, the Overseer replied. The alien warrior's screeches grew louder. They were closing in fast. Jace looked into his daughter's eyes and saw the same fear he felt inside. But he also saw determination. Dad, Lyra whispered, tears streaming down her face, we have to try. If we don't, Earth could be next. Before Jace could answer, the blast door began to open on its own, triggered by Lyra's presence. Inside, the command nexus was unlike anything they had seen. Towering pillars of light rose into the darkness, and a central platform glowed with swirling energy. The Overseer's voice resonated through the chamber. Quickly. The enemy has breached the outer ring. Jace pushed Lyra toward the platform. Go! I'll hold them off. As Lyra stepped onto the glowing surface, the station seemed to come alive. Lights blazed and a deep thrumming filled the air. Symbols appeared in mid-air around her, spinning in complex patterns. She reached out instinctively, and they responded to her touch. Integration sequence begun, the AI announced. Warning, external forces breaching inner sanctum. Jace fired his rifle at the incoming aliens, his voice raw with rage. Lyra! Whatever you're doing, do it faster! Lyra focused, her mind merging with the station's systems. For a brief moment, she felt everything. The hum of the reactors, the cold vacuum of space outside, even the thoughts of the alien invaders crawling through the halls. It was overwhelming, but she pushed through. The station's defense grid roared to life. Turrets fired in unison, corridors sealed with thick blast doors, and drones launched from hidden bays. The alien warriors were cut down in droves, their screams echoing through the metal halls. Jace watched in awe as the tide of battle shifted. For the first time, they had a chance. But just as victory seemed possible, the Overseer's voice dropped to a fearful whisper. Too late. They have sent a signal to their fleet. The holographic display lit up with hundreds of red blips. Lyra gasped. Dad, there's a whole army coming. Outside the station, the alien boarding ship broke apart, releasing a piercing howl into the void. From the darkness of space, multiple warp signatures appeared, each one bringing a new enemy ship closer to their position. Jace's heart sank as he realized the truth. This was just the beginning, he said grimly. The camera of the station's external sensors zoomed out, revealing the first wave of an entire invasion force bearing down on them. Lyra's voice trembled. What do we do now? Jace looked at his daughter, then at the glowing core that now pulsed in rhythm with her heartbeat. We fight, he said, his voice like steel. Or we die trying. The station shook violently as the first of the enemy warships arrived, surrounding them on all sides. And somewhere in the cold void, a haunting alien voice whispered across the comms, beacon located. Prepare for assimilation. The screen of the display went black, leaving only the red glow of countless approaching ships. The station shook as if a giant hand had gripped it, pulling it into the darkness. Alarms blared through every corridor, their shrill wail mixing with the deep, guttural hum of systems struggling to stay online. Lyra clung to the edge of the glowing command platform, her chest heaving. Her mind was still connected to the station systems, and every alarm felt like a stab of pain inside her head. Dad, she gasped, her voice trembling. They're here. Jace stood at the command deck's central viewport, staring at the void beyond. His hands were steady, but his eyes told a different story. There were 3 alien ships circling the station now. They weren't just machines. Their bodies looked alive, grown rather than built, with spiny organic hulls that pulsed faintly as if breathing. Their movements were fluid, almost predatory, like massive creatures hunting prey. The AI's cold voice cut through the chaos. Enemy bioships detected. Station defenses operating at 37% capacity. Recommendation, do not engage. Jace slammed his fist against the console. We don't have the luxury of running. If they take this station, Earth is next. Lyra's small hands clenched. Dad, I can feel them. Jace turned sharply. What do you mean you can feel them? She pressed her trembling fingers to her temples. Since I connected with the station, it's like their minds are brushing against mine. They're angry, hungry. They want the AI core. As if responding to her words, the largest alien ship tilted and a strange, distorted voice crackled through the comms. It wasn't speaking in any human language, yet somehow Lyra understood. Surrender the beacon, join us, and you may live. Her face went pale. They're calling the station the beacon. And they're offering to let us join them. Jace gritted his teeth. Tell them they'll get nothing. I don't think they need me to tell them, Lyra whispered. The ships moved closer, surrounding the station like vultures circling a carcass. Their pulsing lights grew brighter, and strange pods began to detach from their undersides. The AI's voice rose in urgency. "Warning! Boarding craft inbound. Impact in 30 seconds. Jace barked orders like he was back on the battlefield. "Lyra, lock down every access point. Seal the inner corridors. Bring the drones online." Lyra's eyes glowed faintly as she focused, her mind merging deeper with the systems. Doors slammed shut throughout the station, and defense drones emerged from hidden alcoves, their weapons humming with power. "Done," she said, panting. "But I can't hold it all. They're pushing back, like they're inside my head, fighting me for control." Jace gripped her shoulders. "Stay with me, Lyra. You're stronger than they are." The first boarding pod struck the station like a meteor, tearing through the outer hull. Metal screamed as it bored a tunnel into the station's spine. 2 more pods followed, locking into place with a sickening organic crunch. Jace raised his rifle and turned to the AI. "Where will they hit first?" "Primary breach detected in Sector 4. Secondary breaches in Sectors 6 and 8. Hostile forces converging on Command Center." Jace cursed under his breath. "They're coming straight for us." The station's lights flickered. A deep alien roar echoed through the corridors, vibrating through the very walls. Lyra's connection to the systems gave her a horrifying vision. Sharp claws ripping through bulkheads, slavering jaws, glowing eyes full of malice. She stumbled, clutching her head. "Dad, they're inside!" she screamed. Jace moved to the nearest hatch and braced himself. "Let them come!" The first creature burst through a side corridor with terrifying speed. It was a towering insectoid monstrosity, its body covered in glistening black armor. Its limbs ended in jagged, scythe-like blades, and its head split open to reveal a gaping maw lined with needle-like teeth. Jace fired a burst from his rifle, striking it in the chest. The creature shrieked, a sound so loud Lyra's ears rang. It staggered but didn't fall. 2 more appeared behind it, their claws scraping sparks from the floor. "Lyra!" Jace shouted. "Defense turrets now!" Lyra focused, channeling all her fear into the station's systems. 2 ceiling-mounted turrets sprang to life, unleashing a storm of energy bolts. The creatures screeched as their bodies were torn apart, ichor splattering across the walls. The smell was acrid, burning, almost alive. Lyra gagged, but Jace didn't flinch. He'd seen worse during the war, just never anything this alien. More incoming, the AI warned. Enemy numbers increasing. Station security at risk of being overrun. Jace kept firing, but for every alien that fell, 2 more seemed to take its place. The creatures weren't just attacking blindly. They were coordinated, moving with eerie precision. "They're being controlled," Lyra gasped. Like one mind guiding them all. The realization chilled Jace to the bone. "A hive mind," he muttered. The comms crackled again, and the alien voice returned, louder this time, filled with rage. "The beacon is ours. You are irrelevant," Lyra screamed, as a wave of psychic energy surged through her connection to the station. She collapsed to her knees, clutching her head. Jace rushed to her side. "Lyra, talk to me!" Tears streamed down her face. "They're trying to rip the station's systems out of me. If they take control, they'll turn this place against us." The Overseer's voice finally spoke, calm but deadly serious. "Then you must sever the connection manually. Shut down the core link before they breach the Nexus." Lyra shook her head. "If I disconnect, we'll lose the defense systems. The station will be blind, and if you stay connected, they'll enslave you," Jace said, his voice breaking. "I won't let them take you, Lyra, not while I'm breathing." Before she could respond, a new sound filled the chamber, a deep, rumbling vibration that seemed to come from the station itself. The viewport lit up with a horrifying sight. The largest alien ship was opening like a flower, revealing a glowing, pulsating orb at its center. Lyra gasped. "They're deploying something big." The AI's voice dropped to a grim tone. "Enemy flagship, preparing to deploy assimilation unit. Estimated time to breach, 2 minutes. Jace turned to the Overseer's hologram, rage and desperation in his eyes. "Tell me how to stop them." The Overseer flickered, its alien features distorted. "The vault holds weapons capable of destroying that ship, but they are locked behind protocols only the child can access." Lyra's eyes widened. "You mean me?" Yes, the Overseer replied. But doing so will deepen your bond with the station. Once the connection is complete, you may never be free of it. Jace's heart sank. There has to be another way. There is no other way, the Overseer said firmly. The floor shook as another boarding pod slammed into the station. The alien swarm surged forward, their claws slicing through drones and turrets like paper. Lyra stood, trembling but resolute. Dad, we don't have a choice. If we don't fight now, everyone on Earth will die. Jace looked at her, his soldier's mind at war with his father's heart. Finally he nodded, his voice raw. Then we do it together. He took her hand and led her back to the vault chamber. The massive door was still partially open, its surface glowing faintly. As Lyra stepped onto the platform, the entire station seemed to inhale, systems awakening in response to her presence. The AI spoke quickly. Final synchronization required. Warning, process is irreversible. Lyra placed both hands on the glowing pedestal. Energy surged through her body, and her scream echoed through the chamber. Her eyes blazed with alien light as the station's systems fused with her mind. The Overseer's voice thundered. Weapons online. Outside, the alien flagship hesitated for the first time. Massive panels slid open along the station's hull, revealing colossal cannons that hadn't been fired in centuries. Their barrels glowed with deadly energy. Fire! Jace roared. Lyra's voice rang out, layered with something not entirely human. Firing sequence engaged. Beams of brilliant white energy lanced into the void, striking the alien boarding ships. They exploded in blinding bursts, their organic hulls vaporized instantly. The swarm inside the station screamed as their connection to the hive mind was severed, collapsing into lifeless heaps. But the victory was short-lived. The alien flagship absorbed the blasts, its central orb glowing brighter. It retaliated, unleashing a beam of searing green energy that tore through one of the station's outer rings. Lyra staggered, blood trickling from her nose. I can't hold it much longer. The Overseer's tone turned grim. This was only a scouting force. The main fleet is coming. The holographic display shifted, showing dozens, no, hundreds, of warp signatures appearing at the edge of the system. Jace stared in stunned silence. An invasion! Lyra's voice trembled. Dad, they're coming for Earth. Outside, the alien fleet surged forward, blotting out the stars. And in the darkness, the hive mind's voice returned, cold and certain. The beacon will be ours. Humanity will kneel. The station trembled as Lyra collapsed into her father's arms, her last words barely a whisper. Dad, we're not ready for this. Jace held her close, his eyes locked on the approaching fleet. He knew there was no time left. They would either rise to meet this threat, or humanity would fall before ever realizing what hunted them. The station floated in uneasy silence after the battle, surrounded by drifting debris and the lifeless husks of alien boarding creatures. Fires flickered in several sections, contained only by emergency bulkheads. Jace carried Lyra through the smoke-filled command deck, her body limp in his arms. She was breathing, but shallowly, her skin pale and clammy. Stay with me, Lyra, he whispered, setting her gently on a medbed. His hands trembled as he activated the automated medical system. A thin blue light scanned over her, displaying vitals on a nearby screen. The AI's cold voice followed a moment later. Subject is stable but severely fatigued. Neural pathways show signs of deep integration. Further synchronization may cause permanent damage. Jace clenched his jaw. You mean if she connects with the station again, it could kill her? Affirmative. The words struck him like a physical blow. He turned, rage boiling beneath his skin. You knew this would happen, didn't you? He shouted at the Overseer's hologram. The Overseer appeared in a flicker of cold light, its alien form tall and robed, its face unreadable. The survival of your species required her actions. Sacrifice was inevitable. Sacrifice, Jace growled. That's my daughter you're talking about, not a piece of equipment. Lyra stirred, her eyes fluttering open. Dad? She whispered. Her voice was weak but steady. Jace immediately softened, kneeling beside her. I'm here, kiddo. You're safe. Her lips trembled. I heard them, Dad. Even after we destroyed the ships. The hive mind. It's still out there. Before Jace could respond, the Overseer interrupted. The Hive fleet is advancing. If they reach Earth, your species will be annihilated. Station defenses alone are insufficient. You must activate the beacon's final protocol. Jace rose, fury burning in his eyes. You've been hiding things from us since we got here. No more half-truths. What is this place, really? Why do those creatures want it so badly? The Overseer hesitated for the first time, its form glitching slightly. This station was built by my creators as a last refuge. The vault holds a weapon powerful enough to destroy the Hive entirely. But the weapon requires a direct link to a living mind. A mind compatible with the beacon systems. Lyra's breath caught. You mean me? Yes, the Overseer said simply. Jace slammed his fist against the console. You set us up. My father didn't leave this place to me by chance, did he? The Overseer's silence was damning. Answer me! Jace roared. Finally, the alien AI spoke. Your father was chosen long ago to be guardian of the beacon. When he refused, I waited for another bloodline heir. You and your daughter were inevitable. Lyra stared at the hologram in horror. So Grandpa knew. He knew about all of this. Jace's hands curled into fists. That's why he left this place to me. He wasn't trying to pass down junk. He was passing down a burden he didn't want to carry. The revelation hit him like a blade to the gut. His whole life, his father's cold distance, his cryptic words, all of it suddenly made sense. Lyra's voice trembled. Dad, what if we can't do it? What if I can't control it next time? Jace took her hand firmly. You can, and I'll be with you every step of the way. But even as he spoke, doubt gnawed at him. He wasn't just fighting an alien army. He was fighting forces that had manipulated his family for generations. Before they could speak further, the AI's alarms flared. Unidentified human vessel approaching. Identification. Captain Mara Veylan, Earth Defense Command. Jace froze. Mara, she's here? Lyra tilted her head. Who's Mara? Jace's expression darkened. An old friend. And an old enemy. The viewport shifted to show a sleek Earth defense cruiser docking with the station. Moments later, a squad of heavily armed soldiers marched into the command deck. Their weapons trained on Jace and Lyra. At their head was Captain Mara Veylan, a tall, sharp-eyed woman with a cold smile. Jace Varren, she said, her voice smooth as silk. Still getting yourself into trouble, I see. Mara, this isn't what it looks like. Jace said, raising his hands. Oh, I think it's exactly what it looks like, Mara replied. A derelict alien station with technology far beyond anything we have, and you just happen to be in control of it. She circled the room, her gaze sharp and calculating. Command sent me to secure this facility. You've done a fine job keeping it running for me. Jace's blood ran cold. You don't understand. The Hive is coming. We don't have time for this. Mara's smirk widened. Oh, I understand perfectly. That's why I'm here. With this station under my command, Earth won't need to fear any alien threat. She glanced at Lyra, her eyes narrowing. And this must be your daughter. She's the one interfacing with the systems, isn't she? Lyra shrank back behind her father, fear flashing in her eyes. Stay away from her, Jace growled. Mara raised a brow. Relax, Jace. I'm not here to hurt her. I just need her cooperation. After all, the AI won't listen to anyone else. The Overseer's hologram flickered to life. Access denied. Only designated operators may issue commands. Mara's expression turned icy. Then I'll designate myself. She snapped her fingers, and her soldiers aimed their weapons at Jace. Stand down, old friend. I won't ask twice. Jace's mind raced. He knew Mara too well. She wasn't here to defend Earth. She was here to seize power. You're making a mistake, he said, trying to keep his voice calm. If you try to take control of the beacon, you'll trigger a war you can't win. Mara tilted her head. Or I'll end a war before it begins. Think of what Earth could do with this technology. We wouldn't have to hide anymore. We could rule. Lyra's breath caught. Dad, she sounds like them. Before Jace could respond, the AI's alarms blared again. Hive fleet has entered the system. Estimated arrival in 7 hours. Mara's soldiers stiffened, fear flashing in their eyes. Mara herself remained calm, her cold smile never wavering. Perfect timing, she said. Once I demonstrate the station's power, Earth's leaders will have no choice but to put me in command. Jace's heart sank. You're betraying everything we fought for, Mara. No, she replied smoothly. I'm securing humanity's future. By any means necessary, she turned to her soldiers. Take them to the brig. And make sure the girl stays alive. We'll need her. Lyra clung to Jace's arm as they were surrounded by armed soldiers. Dad, what do we do? She whispered. Jace's voice was low and fierce. We survive. And when the time comes, we fight back. As they were dragged away, Jace caught one last glimpse of the Overseer's hologram. Its alien face remained unreadable, but for the first time, he thought he saw something like fear in its glowing eyes. Outside the viewport, the darkness stirred as the first hive ships appeared at the edge of the system, their monstrous forms blotting out the stars, and deep within the station, a hidden protocol activated, one that neither Jace nor Mara knew existed. A quiet, inhuman voice whispered through the corridors, cold and eager. The beacon has chosen its true master. The lights dimmed, and the station itself seemed to breathe. The real battle for control had only just begun. Lyra sat in the cold, dimly lit brig, her hands shaking as she clutched the edge of the bench. The hum of the alien station filled the silence like a distant heartbeat. Across from her, Jace sat with his back to the wall, his face set in a grim mask. They were trapped, helpless, while Mara strutted around the command deck with her soldiers, preparing to take full control of the beacon. Lyra's voice trembled. Dad, we can't just sit here. The hive fleet will be here in hours. Jace's eyes softened when he looked at her. I know, kiddo, but Mara isn't going to listen to reason. She thinks she can control this place, and she'll get everyone killed trying. Lyra's lip quivered. She doesn't care about Earth, does she? Jace shook his head slowly. No, Mara's always been ambitious. Back in the war, she wanted to climb the ranks no matter the cost. I just never thought she'd go this far. A sharp hiss interrupted their conversation as the brig door opened. Two soldiers marched in, rifles at the ready. Between them floated a small, glowing drone, smooth and spherical, unlike any human tech. Its single eye pulsed with faint blue light. The Overseer's voice spoke through it, quieter than usual.
Jace Varren!
Lyra Varren. Listen carefully. There is a way to escape. Jace stood, instantly suspicious. Why should we trust you after everything you've kept from us? The Overseer's tone was urgent. Because Mara Veylan has triggered a chain reaction within the station's systems. If she continues, the beacon will awaken, but under her control. If that happens, this facility will turn its weapons on Earth instead of the hive. Lyra's eyes widened in horror. No, she can't. She doesn't even realize what she's doing, the Overseer continued. The beacon is not a weapon in the conventional sense. It is a living construct. If it bonds with the wrong mind, it will see all other life as a threat. Jace clenched his fists. So you're saying if Mara links with it, she becomes, what, a tyrant with a planet-killing weapon? Or worse, the Overseer said coldly. She will become part of the beacon itself, and it will reshape reality according to her will. The drone's light dimmed slightly. I can unlock your cell, but only briefly. Once you escape, you must reach the core chamber before Mara begins full synchronization. Lyra took a shaky breath. What do I have to do when we get there?
You must fully bond with the beacon before she does, the Overseer replied. Only you are compatible. Your mind can awaken the station without corrupting it. Jace turned to his daughter, panic etched into his features. No, absolutely not. You barely survived last time. This could kill you. Lyra met his gaze, her voice steady despite the fear in her eyes. Dad, if I don't. Earth is finished. You said it yourself, we fight together. This is how we fight. Before Jace could argue, the drone's light flared and the cell door hissed open. Go. I will disrupt the station sensors for 60 seconds. After that, you are on your own. Move. Jace barked, slipping into soldier mode. He grabbed Lyra's hand and sprinted out of the brig. Behind them, alarms began to blare as Mara's soldiers realized their prisoners were loose. They ran through narrow corridors lit by pulsing alien lights. The station seemed alive, its walls shifting subtly as if it were breathing. Lyra felt its presence in her mind again, a whisper at the edge of her thoughts. "Welcome back, operator." The voice was soft, almost gentle, but it carried a weight that made her shiver. "Dad," she gasped, "the station, it knows me." Jace didn't slow down. "We'll worry about that later. Just keep moving." Gunfire echoed behind them. Mara's soldiers were in pursuit. Jace ducked into a side passage, returning fire with his rifle. "Go, Lyra. Get to the core chamber." "No," she cried, grabbing his arm. "I'm not leaving you." "Then stick close," he growled. They reached a massive circular chamber deep in the station's heart. The floor was covered in glowing lines that pulsed like veins, converging on a towering crystalline structure at the center. It emitted a low, resonant hum that vibrated in their bones. "The core," Lyra whispered, awestruck. The overseer's voice filled the chamber, echoing from every surface. "Hurry. Mara is seconds away from initializing the link." As if on cue, a door at the far side burst open. Mara strode in, flanked by her soldiers. Her eyes gleamed with triumph. "Step away from the core," she commanded. "This is over, Jace." Jace aimed his rifle at her. "It's over when I say it is." Mara's smirk widened. "You really think you can stop me? Look around you. This station is mine now. With its power, Earth will bow to me." Lyra stepped forward, her voice trembling but defiant. "You don't understand what you're doing. The beacon isn't just a weapon. It's alive. If you connect with it, it'll consume you." Mara laughed, a harsh, bitter sound. "Then I'll become something greater than human." She raised a small device and pressed a button. Energy flared around the core, forming a swirling vortex of light. The station trembled violently, and Lyra screamed as the presence in her mind surged forward. "Intruder detected. Choose your operator." The words echoed in her skull. She fell to her knees, clutching her head. "Lyra!" Jace shouted, rushing to her side. Mara strode toward the core, her body glowing faintly as she began to sync with it. "This power belongs to me," she shouted. "No!" Lyra screamed, forcing herself to her feet. "You'll destroy everything." She ran to the core, pressing her hands against its surface. A brilliant light engulfed her as the station's voice roared. Synchronization initiated. Mara snarled and pushed back, her own energy colliding with Lyra's in a clash of wills. The core pulsed wildly, sending shockwaves through the chamber. Soldiers were thrown off their feet, and Jace was slammed into a wall, his rifle skittering away. Through the chaos, Lyra and Mara locked eyes. "You're just a scared little girl," Mara hissed. "You don't have the strength to control this." Lyra's voice rang out, clear and fierce. "I don't need to control it. I just need to protect the people I love." The core's light flared blindingly bright. Mara screamed as the beacon rejected her, hurling her across the room. She slammed into the far wall and crumpled, unconscious. Lyra collapsed to the floor, gasping for breath. The overseer's voice returned, filled with awe. "Synchronization complete. The beacon has chosen its true operator." Jace crawled to his daughter, gathering her into his arms. "Lyra, talk to me." She opened her eyes slowly, glowing faintly with alien light. "Dad. I can hear it all. The station, the hive fleet, everything." Outside, the viewport filled with the terrifying sight of the hive armada emerging from warp. Hundreds of massive bioships stretched across the stars, their organic hulls glowing like a swarm of fireflies. Lyra's voice grew urgent. "They are here." The overseer spoke gravely. "With Lyra's bond complete, the beacon's full power is online. But it must awaken completely to face the hive. The final awakening will require a choice and a sacrifice." Jace's heart sank. What kind of sacrifice? The overseer's form flickered, its answer cold and certain. "One of you will not survive what comes next." As the hive fleet began its advance, the station's walls pulsed with alien light, and Lyra's glowing eyes widened in fear. The battle for Earth, and for their very souls, was about to begin. The station shuddered violently, sending tremors through every corridor. Lyra stood at the heart of the core chamber, her hands pressed to the glowing crystalline structure, the beacon pulsing in rhythm with her heartbeat. Her mind was fully merged with the station, every sensor, every weapon, every system flowing into her consciousness. She could feel the hive fleet approaching, sense every ship, every creature aboard, every fluctuation in the void. "Dad," she whispered, her voice trembling. "They're faster than we thought. The flagship is leading the swarm. It's enormous." Jace crouched beside her, his rifle in hand, eyes scanning the chamber's entry points. "We hold them off long enough for the station to fire, right?" Lyra shook her head, fear lacing her tone. "It's more than that, Dad. The beacon can destroy them all, but only if I let it push to its limit. I'll feel everything they do, and I'll feel the energy. It could kill me." Jace clenched his jaw. "Then we make sure it doesn't come to that. We fight until we can't fight anymore." Outside the station, the hive fleet emerged from the darkness of space like a storm. Hundreds of massive bioships spread across the system, their spines and glowing veins throbbing with alien life. Smaller pods detached from the larger ships, heading directly toward the station. The Overseer's holographic form appeared beside Lyra. "Operator, defenses are ready. Weapons calibrated. The beacon awaits your command." Lyra's hands hovered over the crystalline core. She could feel the pulse of the station, hear its voice whispering in her mind. "It is time. Protect your world. Protect them all." She inhaled deeply and nodded. "Do it." The core flared with white-blue light. Massive turrets extended from the station's hull, energy beams lancing into space, striking the incoming swarm. Entire alien pods were obliterated before they reached the station. The smaller ships screamed as their hulls ruptured, but the flagship pressed forward, almost immune to the initial assault. Jace fired at the boarding pods that still managed to breach the hull. "Lyra, keep them away from me." "I'm trying, Dad," she yelled, her voice echoing in the chamber. The station trembled as if alive, responding to her fear, her anger, and her determination. Every weapon fired in harmony with her mind. The flagship's glowing core pulsed and sent out a wave of energy. The station rocked, lights flickering violently. Lyra screamed as the energy surged into her mind. She saw the hive ships as living entities, saw the thoughts of the alien commanders, their hunger, their intent, their connection through the hive mind. "They're everywhere," she shouted, sweat streaming down her face. "Then burn them." Jace yelled back, desperation fueling his fire. "Use everything you've got." The core pulsed brighter, responding to her will. Massive beams of energy shot out from hidden cannon arrays across the station. Ships were ripped apart in bursts of light, their organic armor melting into ash. Pods exploded midair, and alien screams filled the vacuum of space, amplified by the station sensors. Mara, restrained but watching, whispered to herself, "Impossible, how is one child controlling this?" Lyra gritted her teeth, pushing herself further, feeling the strain in her body. The beacon's power coursed through every vein, threatening to overwhelm her. She could see the hive mind's central consciousness, a massive amorphous mass in the void, guiding its fleet. It was intelligent, cunning, and terrifying. "Dad, we have to stop it," she thought desperately. "Lyra, don't stop." Jace shouted. "You can do this." The station trembled as the energy beams grew stronger, cutting swaths through the flagship's hull. But the flagship fought back, releasing a concentrated pulse that shook the station violently. Lyra screamed as the energy tore through her mind. Every nerve burned. "Operator, this is your limit. Exceed it, or perish." Lyra's vision blurred, but she forced herself forward. Every instinct, every memory of humanity, of her father, of Earth, pushed her beyond fear. The station's cannons fired in perfect synchronization. Energy lances pierced the flagship's core. The hive consciousness screamed, a sound she could feel vibrating inside her skull. The flagship exploded in a wave of bioluminescent fragments, scattering the remaining swarm. Smaller ships fell into disarray, unable to regroup without their leader. The hive fleet faltered, then retreated into the void, leaving the system eerily quiet except for the hum of the station. Lyra collapsed to the floor, her body trembling uncontrollably. Jace caught her, tears streaming down his face. You did it. You saved them all. She looked up at him, her face pale but her eyes glowing faintly with residual energy. Dad, it's not over. The hive will return. They always come back. Jace held her close, placing a gentle hand on her shoulder. Then we'll be ready next time. Together. The overseer's voice filled the chamber, calm but with a note of awe. Operator Lyra Varren, you have awakened the beacon. Humanity is spared today. But the war is far from over. You are now the station's guardian, and Earth's last line of defense. Lyra swallowed hard, staring at the core. I understand. We'll protect them. I promise. Outside, the stars shimmered, the wreckage of the hive fleet drifting silently. The station pulsed softly, alive and watching, waiting for the next challenge. Jace looked at his daughter, pride and fear mixing in his chest. You're not alone, Lyra. We fight together. Always. Lyra nodded, determination burning in her eyes. Always, Dad. The camera of the station's external sensors panned out, showing the vast emptiness of space, silent but for the faint glow of Station Epsilon-13. Humanity had survived its greatest threat, for now. But deep in the darkness, beyond the reach of any sensor, a distant shimmer of green light flickered, signaling that the hive mind had survived. And the war was far from over. The station was quiet now, almost eerily so. Outside, the wreckage of the hive fleet floated silently against the black expanse of space. Lyra sat on the floor of the core chamber, her hands still glowing faintly as the beacon's energy pulsed through her. Jace stood nearby, exhausted, leaning against a console, eyes scanning the station for any sign of lingering threats. Lyra's voice was soft but firm. Dad. I can feel it. The beacon, it's alive, but it's changing. It's asking me something. Jace's brow furrowed. Asking you what? Operator, one must remain with the station. To maintain its power, one life must merge permanently. Lyra's eyes widened. What does that mean? Jace's stomach sank. He had guessed, but hearing it out loud made his heart clench. It means, one of us has to stay here. Connected. Forever. The overseer's holographic form appeared beside the core. The final choice is yours, Operator Lyra Varren. One life must be dedicated to the beacon to maintain balance. Without it, the station will destabilize, and Earth, and the galaxy, will be defenseless against the hive. Lyra shook her head, tears forming. I can't. I just barely survived last time. I'm not ready to die here. Jace stepped closer, placing a hand on her shoulder. Lyra, you're not going to die. You have a choice. One of us can stay. I've been around the galaxy, fought countless battles. I'm not afraid of this. But you're Earth's hope. You need a life to live. She looked up at him, her glowing eyes full of conflict. Dad, you've already sacrificed so much for me. I can't let you do it. You've earned a life outside this station. Jace shook his head. I don't care about me. I care about you. And if staying here means saving everyone, then that's my choice. I'm the soldier, Lyra. You're the future. Lyra's hands trembled. I can't let you. Jace pressed his hand gently against her glowing ones. It's my duty. Just like your grandfather chose to guard this station, I choose now. You take my place in the galaxy. Live. Build the future. I'll keep the station alive. The overseer's voice spoke again, calm but heavy with solemnity. Decision accepted. Initiating permanent synchronization. Commander Jace Varren will merge with the beacon. Operator Lyra Varren, your life continues outside the station. Lyra's tears fell freely as Jace approached the core. His body began to glow faintly as energy coursed through him, intertwining with the station. The walls pulsed in response, and the core itself seemed to sigh, acknowledging its new guardian. Dad, she cried, reaching out. Jace smiled faintly, pain and pride mixed in his eyes. Go, Lyra. Protect them all. That's your fight now. He placed a final hand on the core. Light surged, filling the chamber, and then, calm. Lyra fell to her knees, overwhelmed, but alive. She could feel the station's presence in her mind, watching, but it was Jace now guiding it. She whispered, "I'll make you proud." Outside the station, sensors scanned the void. The remnants of the hive fleet had retreated, but signals from deep space indicated they were regrouping. Earth still had a chance, because of Jace's sacrifice. Lyra turned toward the viewport, determination etched into her features. She clenched her fists. "I won't let them come back. I'll protect everyone, like Dad would." The Overseer's holographic form appeared, nodding solemnly. "The beacon's guardian is secure. The war is not over, but the balance is maintained. Humanity has a fighting chance." Lyra breathed deeply, her glowing eyes dimming to a faint shimmer. She stepped away from the core chamber and out into the corridors of Station Epsilon-13, now hers to command and explore, but also hers to carry the weight of its power. The station's systems hummed in quiet harmony, alive, alert, and ready. Somewhere deep in the darkness, the faint shimmer of the hive mind lingered, a reminder that threats would return. But Earth had hope. And Lyra, carrying her father's courage and the weight of the beacon, would face whatever came next. The stars outside twinkled, indifferent yet beautiful, and humanity's last stand had given them a chance to fight another day. The screen faded to black as the faint hum of the station pulsed, signaling that Station Epsilon-13 and the Varren's legacy was awake, alive, and ready.